evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching us on Rock the Vlog Reviews with me, Eugene Tay.
It's me, Jordan.
And me, Malcolm.
Kind of swap places here today. We are filming from BitTemple. This is an incubator for blockchain of companies, and we thought since we have an event here, we might as well just film our review here at BitTemple itself. And the coins we're going to talk about today are...
Today we're talking about EOS.
Ooh.
I'm talking about Ripple.
Ooh.
We're the fanboys, man. Ripple.
I'm talking about Stellar Lumens.
And I think today we are going to be seeing which one of these will be overtaking Ethereum very soon.
Yes. So this...
How do you mean take over Ethereum? Ripple did it 2 weeks ago.
Oh.
Actually, if I'm not wrong, right now Ripple is...
You went back down again.
No, Ripple is actually now higher than Ethereum at this present moment, as we are filming. As we are filming, Ripple is just slightly below Ethereum.
But you know, this Ripple always have this bad reputation of going up and then crashing down, going up and then crashing
That's how you earn the money, right?
Okay, so today's topic would be something fun. We know there's a lot of Ethereum fanboys out there, EOS fanboys, Stellar and XRP. So what the theme of today's topic is that any of these coins might be the next Ethereum. As we know that Ethereum has been languishing behind. We're not saying that it's a bad coin, but we're just having a bit of fun here, studying all these other projects and giving you other perspective on perhaps there could be more to life than just Ethereum.
Of course, I think when we're talking about replacing, it's not exactly replacing what Ethereum is doing, like smart contracts and their platform, but more of like dethroning them as number 2.
I got a question before you start.
Okay.
So when you count Bitcoin, you count it in Satoshis, right?
Yeah.
How do you count Ethereums?
Yeah, also sets, right?
No?
Oh, you count it in Vitaliks.
Oh, okay.
Dude, it's only legit, man. You gotta give the guy some credit,
So Litecoin will have you count it in Charlie.
Charlies.
How many Charlies you own? 7.
Okay, so who's gonna go first?
Alright, I think before that, we need to talk about what words we are going to be getting drunk on today.
Malcolm cannot wait already, man.
Okay, go ahead, guys. Each one pick a word.
Alright, I think for me, I'll pick remittance. Just for Jordan.
I'll pick platform.
Alright.
Wow, killer. I'll pick transaction.
Okay, so these are the 3 words for today.
Platform, transaction, and remittance. Oh, okay. Jordan, you want to go first as usual?
All right, sure. So I'll start with Ripple. For those of you that haven't heard of Ripple, usually it's the first coin, when I hear about when my friends say, "Hey, Jordan, do you buy crypto?" I'm like, yes. Do you hear about Ripple? Yeah. Do you hear about Ripple? I'm like, well, there's like Neo, there's like VeChain, there's like Stellar, there's EOS. No, but yeah, have you heard of Ripple? Like Ripple's like, ooh, Ripple. It's like the big thing here. So personally, I'm not a big fan of Ripple, but I'm a big fan of their technology in that sense, because I gotta say the word. All right, so Ripple's you can count it in a remittance business.
All right, cheers, guys.
Man, I cannot say transaction as well, right? Oh shit.
Just say what you have to say, man.
Does transfer count?
Say what you need to say and let's get on with it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the problem I see Ripple solving, and why I love that tech so much, is that when we are transferring money from peer to peer, especially from local, like for example Singapore, you're transferring to the US, it's going to take you at least 3 days.
Okay, and you're using companies like Western Union?
Correct. So you're using companies, Western Union, there's a whole lot of them, a lot of other companies out there, and you are technically stuck with them because they give you a fee that say, okay, you have to pay me $5 for admin charge, and then you got to accept whatever exchange rate I give you for that day. Okay. And we all know that prices change every single minute, every single hour, but for these companies, they're able to fix a price. So what Ripple does is they have this thing called XRapid. XRapid, right? So XRapid it's a messaging system that goes from bank to bank, and it says things like, hey, Jordan just transferred $100 to Malcolm, and it's done very, very quickly. So the problem that is solved is to transfer money very quickly, because $100 to me might be nothing, but let's say I'm transferring money back to my home village, somewhere in the world, $100 is a lot to them. And what I really love about Ripple right now is that they have a lot of partnerships. So you're talking about the big boys, the banks.
Like what banks? Like what banks?
There are some banks that I pointed out, very, very interesting. Amex Forex FX,
Okay.
which is the exchange branch of Amex. They are testing out the X Current. Okay, so Ripple has a lot of tech. X Current is one, XRapid is one, XVia is one. I think it's too much to cover in one episode itself. And you have StanChart. Oh. We all know StanChart, somewhere around here as well. We have Kota Mahindra Bank from India.
Why you look that way? Why the face like that?
So what does XRP as the currency have to do with all of this?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the funny part. All right, so what I really love about Ripple is the XRapid, which is a messaging system, allows banks to communicate and say that, hey, transactions being approved here and here. But the funny thing is that there is no real utilization of XRP in that sense.
As a token.
As a token, yes. It is not compulsory
Okay.
to use XRP as a token to transfer the money over.
Okay.
So you can just do it in your local currency, or basically whatever currency that you choose to use.
Correct. So that's not the only thing. So what they are looking at is to be able to allow you to transfer things like airline miles, foreign currencies, maybe even gold.
Okay, so it's like an accounting system that banks can use to track all these things when you're transferring it to people, in a way to verify the transactions that yes, it is legit that Malcolm did send X amount of miles to Jordan. So it's basically that accounting system that is we're referring to as XRapid. Is that true?
Correct.
Okay, interesting.
Right. So what Ripple is saying, you can check it out on their site, is that their settlement is very fast. Traditional banks takes about 3 days. Ripple does it in 3.5 seconds.
Wow, fantastic. I think there's a kind of underlying use of blockchain technology, and is why blockchain is being looked at so aggressively by so many various businesses, is because there is real use in blockchain to solve a lot of these transactional issues, to solve a lot of these slow paper-based processes. You can actually log it all on the blockchain. So I guess it makes sense. But XRP as a currency, from what you have said, maybe not in the near future.
I would be interested in holding equity for the Ripple holdings.
Okay.
Token-wise,
Because as you say, it's not compulsory to use XRP as a currency.
Correct.
So where does it come in? Do banks have to use XRP to pay for the services they're using as XRapid? They don't, right? So I think they do?
that I'm not sure. I don't think the bank is going to tell us like, oh, we are paying Ripple in XRP.
I don't think so. I think they'll just pay them in cash. So I think, like you said, as a company, Ripple seems legit.
Yes.
But as a token, I think it's yet to be seen what you can actually do with a XRP token. So maybe that is something you should understand. Yeah.
Yeah, so that is what I like about the business. All right. So what makes it really stand out? I mean, other than the fast transaction speed, guys, I'm getting a bit thirsty.
Yes.
Yeah, Spotlight's a bit hot as well. All right. So have you guys transferred Bitcoin? It takes almost almost an hour.
Sometimes an hour, sometimes a week.
But definitely not fast enough for it to be an actual transaction.
Yeah.
You're paying for something.
Until the Lightning Network comes out.
Okay, so let me tell you why Ripple pumped in the last few days. I think probably the last week, right?
Tell us.
So Brett Garlinghouse, is that how you say it? Brett Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple.
All right.
So apparently he has been bugging Coinbase, to list Ripple.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So as all the fanboys like, oh, Coinbase, let's go. Yeah. So I would think that was probably the reason why it caused it.
But are they listed on Coinbase?
Not yet.
Not yet.
But Coinbase has a new policy now where they allow issuers to actually fill out a form, and Coinbase will consider putting them out.
So I guess people are betting that XRP will be one of the first.
Yes, because XRP, like what you said, has been bugging Coinbase to be listed.
You know, if I, hey, you know, list me on exchange. Hey, list me, man. I'm Ripple. List me, I'm Ripple.
I think it's important to know why people actually are so hyped up on just a listing is because it gives liquidity to the local currency pairing. So right, for example, Bitam, right? You know, Bitam is a Korean exchange, so they do a Korean won pairing. The reason why it's so hot, man, actually any coins list on Bitam, and in fact, Kyber listed on Bitcoin, I think, a few months ago, and it went crazy because you have the Korean people have direct liquidity with their Korean won, and they're able to trade it directly for you know, whatever currency has a Korean pairing. If they didn't have the Korean pairing, they would have to buy Bitcoin, use the Bitcoin, transfer it to another exchange, and then change Bitcoin into the currency that they want, which takes not only more steps but more transaction fees as well.
But see, the beauty about Coinbase is that it's damn easy to use. Personally, I've never used it, but my friends, they use Coinbase. Say, oh, you know what? I just bought Bitcoin. Like, oh, how? Oh, I use Coinbase credit card.
You know why? Because when everyone started back in the spike of the early 2016, 15, Coinbase was the most dominant site to use. Like if you know, we talk about the hundreds of wallets we have now in the market, but back then it was just Coinbase.
Yeah.
Or at the very least, there were others, but Coinbase was the dominant
one. I mean, now there's Gemini, now there's every country has at least one local exchange. I think the liquidity is the part that is really important and something to take note of.
That's where the money comes in.
Yeah. Okay, very cool.
Too many people do not realize that exchanges play a very important role for the liquidity. It's not that every other monkey with half a brain goes out there, copy out the code and start its own exchange. You're not really an exchange if you've got no volume and liquidity. And the reason why people are always asking, especially I know to the chagrin of project founders who have to address the topic of which exchange when list, right? That's the reason why people ask that, because knowing where to list and how much liquidity is there allows you to plan when you're going to sell your stuff. Because there's no point holding on to a whole stack of coins, go to exchange and then there's no one buying it. I have coins like that.
I think that's the reason why Binance, you know, whenever Binance lists something new, people love it not only for the liquidity but also because of convenience. Because if you think about it, Binance has one of the largest, if not the largest, crypto-to-crypto market users. So you know,
They are top right now, right?
Yeah, they definitely are. They definitely are. Binance.
Yeah.
So you know, like if I don't have an OKEX account, for example, you know, I have to create a new account just to buy another token. Yeah, which then forces me to not only create an account, do KYC, but also transfer, you know, some of my assets from from Binance over, which is a bit cumbersome. It's a better user experience to all have it in one. Then you know, with just one app, you can navigate through all of your coins.
Okay, so let me tell you why I do not like Ripple.
Why you don't like Ripple? Okay.
Why don't Ripple? All right, so of the circulation, right? So Ripple has a pre-mine, right? Ripple holding holds more than 50% of the total token supply, which is pretty scary.
So basically what I'm saying is if they were to release all this existing supply into the current market, basically Ripple will drop by half.
Ripple's about
I think 55 cents.
55 cents?
But to their defense, I believe, if I remember correctly, the founders have actually got into a contractual agreement that they are not allowed to dump their coins. And in fact, the 50% that they hold will be released in parts over the years. So your fears of them suddenly dropping 50% will not happen because they are not allowed to do that.
So the rules are meant to be broken.
No, but the founders have already spotted that years ago, because this was something that was raised all the time. And they go like, wow, okay, we put a contract here, okay, we put our money in the custodian, so the coins in the custodian. Yes. So that's how people got the confidence back in XRP.
But will you still buy Ripple?
I don't buy Ripple because I don't like the fact that XRP is supporting the banks, and just that alone. Like everything else about XRP aside, I came into blockchain for the love of disrupting the banks. Right? I know that narrative has now been changed and regulations are important to work with the rest of the community, but when I first hear Stellar using, hear XRP building cryptocurrency solutions for the banks, immediately I shout traitor. Right?
Why support the banks when you can get rid of them, right?
Yes. Yeah. So on that principle and that principle alone, I do not support XRP.
Fair enough, fair enough. I think that's
I like them as a business, man.
Yeah.
I think that's more of like a personal
Yeah, I mean,
choice.
if you talk about business, there's so many other coins to support and buy, you know, for the finite resources that we have. Yeah. As I said, it's a very personal thing.
Yeah, but okay, so there are some projects that Ripple are running right now. So they have X Spring, that is read as Spring.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like an incubator, that links up investors for entrepreneurs as well. They have the Omni, which is a data storage facility.
Okay.
XRapid, and then also Xcurrent as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's about it for Ripple. I love it as a remittance, but cheers.
Cheers,
guys.
nice. But maybe not as a currency.
Yep.
All right, so maybe I'll start on EOS right now. So basically, today we are going to be talking
EOS fanboys.
a little bit more about EOS, and I think something that many people have heard of. But the surprising fact is that EOS only came out last year around April. So maybe before I get into all the juicy details, let's explore how they actually did conduct their ICO. Their ICO actually ran for 365 days, which is a year. And every day, 2 million EOS tokens will be distributed into the market. And a very interesting thing about this is that they don't actually specify one EOS is equivalent to X amount of dollars or X amount of Ether. It's actually based on how much Ether is being contributed and then divided equally by how much EOS is there on that day. So if let's say 2,000 EOS, 2,000 Ethereum was contributed on that day itself, then everybody who contributed 1 Ether worth will get 200 EOS, and that is basically how they did it. So I was actually playing this EOS game very frequently in the whole of last year. Basically, we will camp on their website. And before there's a 24-hour timer. Before the timer actually hits the 0 mark with 5 minutes left, I will go and spot and see how many Ethers have already been contributed. And if I feel that the levels are far too low for the price that I can actually sell on the exchange, I will then contribute my Ethers, take out the EOS tokens, which because they are distributed immediately, and sell it on the exchange for about 10 to 15% profit daily. But of course, there are certain times where you think that you're getting a good price. So at the end of, let's say, 2 minutes left on the countdown, you invest money in, and the whale suddenly pumps in 5,000 Ethers. And maybe basically that day you're getting less than what the market price for it. So basically, if you bought it in the market, it's cheaper than if you were to gamble in this space. So after a while, I realized, okay, maybe this is getting a bit too risky. I made some money. Time to stop it. But basically, EOS as a system, they are actually a platform that actually allows dApps and actually other cryptos to actually build upon. So they're actually trying to compete with Ethereum. They have smart contracts, and they're actually using a DPoS system to actually move their blocks. So miners are voted in. Okay, same as ARC, where we spoke about ARC, right? You have to actually, as an EOS holder, you have rights to vote for your delegate.
So they have a wallet.
They have a wallet.
Mobile wallet?
Yeah, mobile wallet. So there are 21 delegates who are allowed to mine these blocks. And because you actually have delegates, not only are the block mining very quick, 0.5 seconds for each block produced, but you can. This is also how you're able to have free transactions, because the people who are mining are actually absorbing the cost. Because when they mine these blocks, when they are voted to mine these blocks, they are earning profits, right? So basically, they force these delegates to pay for the fees before they can draw out their profits. So basically, EOS has free transactions, and that's how they do it. All right, so it's pretty cool. So they have a very lean pool of delegates. They have very fast transaction speed. They have very fast block producing time. That actually creates the very powerful ecosystem for projects to build upon EOS. They have full smart contracts. Their code languages varies from many languages you can choose from, and they have been very dependable so far in terms of speed and in terms of delivery. All right, so it's pretty good so far. But here's where a little bit of drama came about. So basically, around a few months ago, there was an issue with EOS. When it launched after 3 days, get this, EOS network actually went down.
Yeah.
Why? So the question is why? There is this council for EOS, and it's basically called Give me a second. It's basically called the EOS Core Arbitration Forum, and these people actually are the ones who provide, or who basically they have some power to call some shots. And basically what they did is they detected that there was some fraudulent activity in a few wallets, and they basically commanded 7 nodes or some of the delegates to refuse any transaction from these nodes. And when these notes says why, what proof do you have that these are fraudulent accounts or bad actors, they just say we will explain it to you on a later date.
So what this?
That I didn't know.
This was a big deal. 3 days after mainnet launch, right? It was a case of, yes, I understand that you guys want to prevent bad actors from affecting the rest of the pool, but at the same time, it kind of show you guys the power that this 13 of them actually have over the entire network. So how decentralized is it if you have this core group of people, let's call them the elites, right, making decisions for the rest of the network? So that was the main argument behind
So
it.
you're saying that this 11 or 13 people actually own 51% of...
Yeah, because there's only 21 delegates. So as long as you have more than 11, you are considered the majority.
So these people are in cahoots in a sense.
If you think about it, right, Ethereum, nobody knows who are the miners or the node holders exact identity. So you cannot really, collude with people to bring down the network. So I would say Ethereum is actually it's actually pretty decentralized. But in EOS, because delegates have to be voted in, you basically know who these delegates are. And when you know who these delegates are, you basically can manipulate them to do things. So this arbitrage, this arbitration forum, EOS Core Arbitration Forum, asked them to shut these wallets down, and they had no choice but to follow, and they did shut this wallet down. There was no indication of whether they did it for the right reason or bad reasons, but like what Eugene said, the fact that they can do it is scary.
But no, later on it was revealed a few days later on their Twitter that they were right, that they were bad actors.
Yeah, they were bad actors.
But the point is, as I mentioned, how decentralized is it?
So I think moving forward, the only thing I have to comment is that I like EOS. I think it's a very cool. They're trying to solve a lot of issues like scalability without introducing things like sharding, which is still yet to be seen. So they are still using the old school ways, but using some improvements to push it along. And the only suggestion I have is have more delegates. Like ARC has 51.
Yes.
But EOS only has
Then it will be
21.
harder to control.
So I guess with more producers, it makes the system a little bit more
I
decentralized.
got a question. What's the ROI for EOS?
That we have to check out because I have no idea. All right.
That would be something cool to look at.
Okay, so I'm done. Maybe now on to you, Eugene.
Okay, well, I've been sitting here just waiting because today's topic has been very interesting. We have XRP, EOS, and all these are really projects that have huge fan base, and Stellar as well. In fact, why we picked this team is Stellar and all these 2 other projects are very, very closely tied together in a way. Not that for XRP and all that, XRP and Stellar, we are tied together, but the race to be the next Ethereum is quite close between EOS and Stellar. Okay, so just to give you some fun facts, guys, do you know that the founder of Ripple and Stellar is actually the same guy? Right? Jed McCaleb founded XRP and then Stellar Lumens. But many people thought that, he broke out of that. He saw the light. And in fact, why I say he saw the light was after breaking out from Ripple and got to Stellar, he made it his point to work with the unbanked to create an inclusive community for people who are in the developing countries.
Yes.
So, so that's why I support Stellar.
Different target market.
So he saw the light, right? And the other thing also is the world's first Stellar ATM was revealed in Singapore last year in November.
Oh, where?
First Stellar ATM in a fintech festival. Fun facts.
Can I still buy it?
The ATM.
Yeah. I want to buy Stellar Lumens.
I don't think it's there anymore. Okay, but so Stellar is actually a payment technology built upon the Ripple protocol at the start. It is not a fork per se because the entire code has been written from ground up for Stellar. Okay,
So it's like a copycat, but not a copycat.
inspired by.
Inspired.
Inspired by.
So it's rewritten everything line by line. So unlike Ripple, Stellar actually aims to work with developing markets instead of banking systems.
Okay.
And they really embrace the move into empowering users for underdeveloped countries. So that's really their main goal. The unbanked, the undeveloped, the cross-border payments, the remittance and all that, just to create
Malcolm is sharp today.
yeah. And don't forget, this may sound very dated as we talk about today. Oh, cross-border payment. But don't forget, this is 2014. Back then, this was the driving goal of adopting blockchain, right? Also, Stellar has, compared to, say, Ethereum, right? Stellar actually has very fast transaction between 2 to 5 seconds to seal, right? And it has very cheap and low fees, right? Almost next to nothing.
Sounds good.
Right. So far, if you want to be a payment solution, cheap and fast, tick already, okay? So what is still holding Stellar back from the race against Ethereum, right? That's something you asked. We don't know yet, other than the fact that I think Ethereum became the poster boy of smart contracts at a very early stage. And Stellar did not do much marketing in the way Ethereum managed to get the kind of market adoption.
But actually, I have been seeing a lot of projects building on Stellar's platform because of its fast fees and, like you said, quick transaction times.
Like, people who know about Stellar Lumens like Stellar Lumens for what they represent. But Ethereum, okay, let's put it this way. In the blockchain community, Ethereum is like the Apple, the Mac.
Okay.
You know, you would go to Ethereum because it's cool. Although there are other smart contracts around, that's probably your go-to,
Yeah.
right? But Stellar Lumens have been quietly trying to fight the race. In fact, if you talk about Ethereum, and another brand that would have been a close competitor to Ethereum would be EOS. EOS, in terms of the swag, in terms of the founders' cred, in terms of the way they are kind of rebellious, they're the bad boys of the crypto world.
And they have just started a $1 billion VC fund to do adoption.
We look at projects and there's all these buzzwords like Byzantine, delegated proof of stake, consensus protocol, federated consensus protocol. But what's really cool is that XRP actually spent the time to create a graphic novel explaining federated consensus protocol.
Graphic novel.
Graphic novel. So,
comic.
yeah. So check out this overlay and take a look at the comics that they have. Pretty interesting stuff. So you can tell that the Stellar team really take their job seriously. They have fun with it. They really am humble about it. So now let's get to the price point.
All right, so for the price point, let's start with Ripple. We are the third market cap, only trailing by Ethereum by at this point of time $500 million. $500,000 million.
So close.
Very, very close. All right, so Ripple went up to a high of $3.20.
that was in a bull run, right?
That
Everyone
was
coming
the
into crypto.
highest, and people were talking
just
about
like-
how Ripple was a shit coin. I mean, I don't want to give comments on that, okay, but it was 25 cents.
And it was like, and it went to what, $3.75.
But the funny thing is, when you went at $3, all my non-crypto friends rushed in to buy at $3.
My friend's like, Jordan, Ripple.
Buy now, buy now.
My personal colleague, he walked past me, Jordan, do you buy Ripple? No, I said, no, I didn't.
To be very fair, Ripple was 25 cents on the 9th of December and shot up to its all-time high at $3.30 on Jan 5th. So in a span of less than a month. So the reaction time that people had was very not a lot. Okay, but by the time they actually heard the news and by the time they created the accounts and got money in, that was the time when Ripple hit its highest peak. So my condolences to all who bought at the peak, but maybe now you have a little bit of reprieve from the recent bull run. All right, so right now
it's going back up. It's like I think it's about 50 what? Let me see.
XRP bluff
it's
people
55 cents now.
55
Even
cents.
if XRP go to $3 tomorrow, I call bluff.
Okay, so anyway, now the market cap is $21 billion. Okay, so that's pretty high. So let us go to our next contender, which is EOS at number 5. And their market cap is currently at $4.8 billion. So actually substantially lower from the number 3 spot. And they are trading at $5.34. Their peak price was actually not too long ago, was at $21, roughly on the 29th of April. So actually not that far back. I think that was when they launched their mainnet, version 2 of their mainnet. Yeah. So if you think about it, Ripple lost from then until now $3 to 50 cents is 6 times. EOS from $21 to $5 is 4 times. And then the star of the show is Stellar Lumens. Right now, market cap at 4.7 billion, which is very close, almost inching. And they are currently valued at 25 cents with a high of actually 65 cents. So it's actually 75
Not
cents.
too bad to buy now. However, people I spoke to who are more experienced traders than myself, they kind of, I don't know how they analyze it, but they say the Stellar support level is at 19 cents, 20 cents, around there. So not that far, not that far. So if you do want to buy now because you FOMO, it's still okay.
FOMO 3D?
They only dropped 1/3 of their price. So at the high of 75 cents,
30%
they dropped to 25 cents. So actually, they dropped the least compared to these three, showing how resilient.
Very resilient.
And I bet the Satoshi price is actually much higher, almost at par, because when it was 75 cents, I'm sure a Bitcoin price at that time was also pretty high.
So we're going to start a new game for you guys. Whatever projects that we talk about every week on the show, we're going to list them, we're going to buy them, and we're going to list them down on our Excel sheet. And at the end of the month, we're going to see
Who is the clear winner? Who's the winner?
Who's the winner? Okay, and a loser drinks.
So you'll buy $100 worth of the coins that we talk about. So in the previous week I talked about One Chain, I talked about Zilliqa, and today I talk about EOS. We will actually, based on the price point that we talked about, buy $100 worth when the video came out, and then we'll do a chart comparison. So next week we'll review who is the winner of our 1 month competition.
Alright guys, that's all the time we have for you today. We hope this has been informative for you as well as enjoyable. Although we didn't really drink much today, but I think it's a very heavy topic and we try to make it as light for you guys as possible. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to find out more or you want us to specifically review some tokens, just leave us in a comment below. And I will see you guys next week.